C'est bon? Ouais, c'est bon. Est-ce que ça bouge? Ouais, ça bouge. Est-ce que ça roule? Ouais, ça roule. Est-ce que tu sens? Ouais, je sens. yoga, I want to know what's up. You only want him, number one in town. Anywhere she enter, baby, they must be salad. Hey, baby, sweetie, Asobodo Ibo Indianapolis, Miami, Nefa Gucci, Prada, designer, Naya. Anywhere she enter, baby, they must be salad. Baby, sweetie, Yaka. For this dance, you know,
Hello everybody, we're starting in 10 minutes time. 10 minutes. Thank you. second session is starting in 5 minutes time. Please make your way to your seat, please. Thank you very much.
Go.
Oh, she wants to go. So, right. So, what will happen is that.
What you have her?
I don't have it. But the truth is that what we can do when one seller speaks, we give her like 5 minutes to speak before the panel. Is that okay?
You know what? The deacon.
It's not the schedule.
They say I want so you won't take charge. Okay, I know man. Cause you're too kind, I'll be quiet.
Yes.
I know that. Baby, when I say it's your time, you say make her hold tight. Now she said she won't give me Africa. Turn up what she knows. I don't know how she manage. The African thing she the root. Fine things like Kennedy. Anything you want to be. I be right here. I don't be all my love on me. She be African.
Chief, the show shadow, the screen. Who you got going next? So, this.
He's supposed to be right after me.
I was on a panel.
You were on the panel?
This is page 2.
Oh, that makes.
My name is on it twice. It's right there and
Oh, yeah, I can see. That's fine. That's fine. But we'll give you like 5 minutes to have a quick speech. Is that okay?
just say something now.
Just say something now.
Am I gonna?
Good afternoon, everybody. The second session is about to start. At this juncture, I want to welcome our senator in the House. She's going to say a word or two to us. Senator Denzela James. Thank you, madam.
With you today here at the Niger Delta Georgia Business Summit. And yes, my name is Senator Donzella James, and I have served in the state Senate for many, many years. And I have actually gone to Nigeria on more than 25 occasions. And even more than that, when I was going, I felt a sense of I belong here. And I did the 1, 2, 3 and me first, those little things you can join to find out where your genes come from. And then I did the ancestry. Guess what? I'm 70% Nigerian. So I knew that I must have been, because I felt so comfortable every time. And my friends were in a choir boom, and that's why I started going at first. Hey, choir boom! And of course, I've been to Abuja and Lagos. Everyone goes there, but in Abuja, I met all of the elected officials. I've had an opportunity to speak before them. When I first started going to Nigeria, I met the governor that was just getting elected, and that was God's Will Akpabio. And now he's the president of the Senate, yes. And Dora, you got to come back because the thing keep popping back off. I did have a message for you today, but I'll go ahead and let's see. Thank you. And I have worked with the African community, not just because I thought I was a part of it, but because we need to start doing business together. So way back in 2009, I put legislation in that was Senate Resolution 109 at that time, and it was to foster a closer relationship between the whole motherland and the state of Georgia. And with them, I worked with some of our colleges, Morehouse Spelman, Clark, Atlanta, and many others that happen to be called now to HBCUs, historical black colleges. But I worked with them to be a part of this Senate Resolution number 9. And I wanted to do an exchange program at that time. And that's what we started doing, and sending students from different parts of Africa over to those schools, and vice versa. Our students would go there. And we did that successfully for about 10 years. So I'm very proud of that. And also, we did the cultural things, even with Clark Atlanta University, and they have a big building there now. So if you come back again, so some of you who are just visiting, I'd love to take you on a tour. But where is it? You wouldn't believe it, but I do this all, I never drop anything. I do this all the time. And since I talked so long, I made a short little presentation. So I want to thank all of the sponsors of this year's program here today. And thank you for providing this unique platform to discuss and build a strong commercial partnership. And that's what we need to do, because I know you're open for business. And so are we here in the state of Georgia. The Niger Delta, of course, is that region that's so rich in natural resources, including vast resources of oil and gas, fertile agricultural lands, as our king showed us in his great presentation. You have abundant, yes, you can clap for him, yes, please, for your majesty. And also the abundant fisheries. Harnessing these resources sustainably is crucial for ensuring long-term economic growth, both in the Niger Delta region and here at home. Agriculture is the #1 business in the whole state of Georgia, and many people don't know that. But when you come here, and if agriculture for Nigeria is #1, then we need to definitely not just have our great economic development department from Georgia that's here, but also agriculture, or the agriculture commissioner, and take a tour of the unique ways that we're doing with the fryers, the chickens, all of that, everything that we do here in Georgia. We're #1 in the whole nation. And so we would love to show you all the new technology that we have that we're using here in the state of Georgia, and make sure too that we can just continue to do business. Another thing that I've been involved with for more than 14 years is dredging the port of Savannah, so that it will be deep enough to have big barges to come through. But more than that, to open the Panama Canal. And as most of you know, we finally, it was under Obama that gave us the matching funds. We've been working, and it had not happened yet. But our President Obama, who is also, of course, you know, from Kenya, his roots are there, he was able to get Congress to give us matching funds. So yes, we did dredge the port, and we worked to open the Panama Canal. So it is happening as we speak. They're continuing to open it. And it'll be a straight shot from the coastline of Nigeria over to Savannah, Georgia, right here in Georgia. So we have to make sure that, you know, routes are developed by the whole country, not by us here in Georgia. And we need to make sure that we get one route that would do that, because what would happen is cheaper trade, you could do more trade between Nigeria and the state of Georgia, because they could have a straight line. It'll cut off the distance. You wouldn't have to just go to New York and to some of the other ports, but you could come right here. So we're going to continue to work on that. And the good thing is, this year in the state of Georgia, just last year, we had 5 Nigerian-born legislators to run for office, and they won. They won. So I wish one could have joined me in the Senate, because I seem that I'm fighting all the time by myself to make sure that things are equitable and just when it comes to trade. But they are in the House, and I think one of them is coming here this evening to speak with you. So I'm excited. I'm very excited that we had one lady already, though, that came from Nigeria, a young woman, that served 6 months, and all of a sudden, she left us and went to heaven. So we have to make sure we fill her place. So you would have had 6 instead of just 5. But she has gone on to glory. So unfortunately, we would think, oh my, we need to put another Nigerian-born person in there. But it doesn't matter, because now we have a delegation of the Georgia Africa delegation. And every year for years, I've been sponsoring Africa Day at the Capitol and Diaspora Day. And it's always in March, the second week. And why do I do that? To just have them come into the Capitol? No, but to make sure that the legislators in the House and Senate understand who we're doing business with. Then we need to put a face on it. We need to let them know that throughout the state of Georgia, the voters are from those places too. And it's been very successful to have the Diaspora Day, and we want to continue to do that. In recent years, the state of Georgia increased its interaction with the African counterparts. We're harnessing resources from regions like the Niger Delta at much higher rates. So between 2019 and 2023, imports from African nations at the port of Savannah have already risen over 100%. Maritime collaboration between Georgia and the African countries, yes, it's at an all-time high, but it's not enough. We could do so much more. So partnerships with countries across the globe are essential for business development. So as we utilize the resources of the Niger Delta, we further open the door to numerous job opportunities for Georgians and Nigerians alike. Collaboration is key, and we must continue to strengthen these economic ties between the Niger Delta and Georgia. Yes, dialogue like we're doing today, investment, and cooperation are essential to achieving these critical goals. But let me tell you, you got to have a plan of action. So I like the memorandum of understanding that I've been asked to sign and to be a part of. And so I'm telling you right now, I am in this to make sure. Thank you. And also, we have so much economic growth that we need in energy. I invited some of the people from Georgia Power Company and from our EMCs to come here today, but it was late notice, and they're having another conference somewhere, and they could not come. But they are willing to sit down with you and talk to you and see what they can do to show you all the techniques of energy that we have here and bringing electricity that we have here to match what you need to do yes. So I have names for you and I would like to make those appointments with whoever you tell me needs to sit down since they couldn't come today and meet with you. But we're on the way. We're moving forward. We don't sit down and just twiddle our thumbs and do nothing. We need to work. Time is of the essence because all the precious resources we have there, we need to utilize them here in the state of Georgia and vice versa. We have many things here in Georgia that needs to also come to the Niger Delta region. So I'm not going to talk you to death. I'm going to say thank you, thank you, thank you. I wish I could talk more about transportation because you see I'm getting excited just being up here and talking to you in the first place because it's truly on my heart. And we have so many other people now that we have our Nigerian-born delegation that has come and been a part of us. So we work together because you cannot do anything in the Senate without the House, and they can't do anything without us. So together we're working, and we're better together than we are apart. So we want to continue to let you know, call us. Don't let us, tell us what you want us to do. I'm here for it. I read the memorandum of understanding, and I'm getting ready to sign it because I want to sign it. And believe me, I want to get others to sign it as well. I might not get the governor to sign it, but I can get other legislators to sign it. And who knows, the governor might look and say, wait, this is something we need to do. So thank you very much. If you have any questions, I'll answer them now because I can't stay for the evening session. But if you have any questions of me, I'd be happy to answer at this time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. And no questions, right? Thank you again, and thank you for inviting me. It's an honor to serve and work with you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, most distinguished Madam Senator. We are grateful.
Thank you. Oh, my God.
Most distinguished.
Most distinguished.
Thank you.
And I'm sure we're all
I'm
glad.
honored.
And I'm sure we're all glad to know that an MOU is going to be signed for cooperation between the Niger Delta. We have our Honorable Deputy Speaker here to kind of guide us through that. But thank you very much, Madam. At this juncture, I want to recognize the presence of NIDO, Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, Atlanta Chapter, Dr. Helen Abasute. You give her a round of applause. Thank you, Madam. You're welcome. Just saying hello. Thank you very much. Right. Now we want to start kind of getting our hands dirty in kind of having those difficult discussions about how we can move our region forward. This MOU we are going to sign, what is it going to entail? What are we going to do? What actions are we going to put in place to make this a reality in our region? So for the first, before we have this discussion, I want to introduce
All right, so good afternoon again. We have a special guest here this afternoon, Mr. Ricardo Barris. He is chairperson of the Global Opportunities Committee with the Atlanta Black Chambers, one of the largest black chambers in the country. And he is spearheading a global conference with the expected attendees of 3,000 to 5,000. And I am not going to steal his thunder because you have some material here, but the Niger Delta People's Movement and our Niger Delta community will be a part of that conference. But I'm going to let Brother Barris come up and explain to you the Go Global Conference, what it's all about, its objectives, and how all of you can play a role in this venture. So, Mr. Barris. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Austin, and good afternoon, everyone. Your Royal Highness, all protocols observed. Thank you for having me. My name is Ricardo Berries, as it was stated. I sit as the chair for the Global Opportunities Committee of the Atlanta Black Chamber. You don't need to be in Atlanta to be a part of the chamber. That's the good thing. So now you can be anywhere in the world because of the Global Opportunities Division for the chamber that we've established about 3 years ago to focus on opportunities around the world for our members and for the global black business community. Our mission within the chamber is to advance black businesses. It's to advance black communities. It's to advance black advocacies for the things that we want to do to be able to lift our economies up. And so the establishment of our committee, we have a number of programming that allows us to head towards a direction of generating 100 billion in global transaction among the global black business community. Imagine a world where we trade more with each other, where we invest more in each other, and we partner more in each other. Imagine a world where a conversation like this does not just include Niger Delta, but also other black businesses from other parts around the world that would love to be able to do business with each other. The world is much smaller today than it was 50 years ago, but we still operate in the vacuum as if we are living in the past. We've got the technologies, we've got all the necessary tools to increase our ability to do business with each other. So my committee in the Atlanta Black Chamber is focused specifically on answering those questions. Where around the world do we have opportunities, whether it's in trade, whether it's in partnership or investment, that we can do business with each other? And so when it comes to B2B matchmaking as an example, and we have always sort of described the idea of translating any opportunity into real economic value as a formula that starts with connection. Many of you have never met before, but today is special because it's a connection. It's the establishment of a new connection that we can then build a relationship upon. Then we can identify the opportunities that exist between each other, and then we can translate those opportunities into real economic value. And if we do those things successfully, what will happen is that we will grow. And so as you think about the connections that you make here as you visit Atlanta, as you visit the United States, those connections has to be pursued, and you develop those relationships to the place where you can then transact. And so for the Global Opportunities Committee, we have all black business delegation that we do every 6 months or so, and we just got back from Southern Africa, doing South Africa, Zimbabwe, and Zambia as part of our mission to bring the global black business community and our stakeholders together. And this is very, very important because at the end of the day, it's going to be up to us to elevate our economic status. It's going to be up to us to elevate our economic condition. So the conference that we've put together, we want to bring all the countries, as many of them as possible, and I think we are 50 at the last count, businesses, delegates from around the world who would like to then converge in the same environment over 2 days, 3 days to do business with each other. So we've got B2B matchmaking event, we have an expo floor as well, and we would love to have some Niger Delta business exhibiting the best of what you have to offer. Listen, you are here today to talk about the opportunities that exist in your region. I looked at the booklet that you gave me, and I could identify over 9 different areas in which you have opportunities. But if you look around the room, you would need more audience. You need to be able to talk to more people. And that's what the opportunity that we are presenting to you in October provides. It's an environment, a platform that allows for you to not only just talk, but if you have businesses that can come and share with us, show the opportunities, the products, the services, this is what we're doing. And imagine, I'm in tech, so I love networking and working on servers and all that stuff, and a node in a network, Niger Delta region as a node in the global black business network creates opportunity for businesses all over the world. And so this is the space to be in. And I'll lastly share one of the things that we've done in my committee is to appoint eyes and ears and boots on the ground for us in every territory where we have a large concentration of people of African descent, African Americans, Africans, black businesses, however you call it. We have those representation to help us to discover what those opportunities are. So you can imagine now we have over 40 countries, we have more than 40 regional leads, and we do have a regional lead for Nigeria, who is in Nigeria today working on identifying what those opportunities are on a continuous basis to share with us. That's what we want to do to be able to do business. I'm an entrepreneur, I'm not a politician. I see everything through the lens as an entrepreneur. Who am I buying from? Who am I selling to? And could any of those transactions be from one of you? Those are 3 questions that we ask ourselves every day in our committee. So I invite you to come to Atlanta in October. On the 2nd to the 5th of October, there is a circulation of a small little pamphlet that's a little card that says save the date. If you need more information, you can scan that QR code and reach out to us if you'd like to exhibit, which is a great opportunity. If you'd like to be a part of a B2B matchmaking event, giving you 25 minutes to sit in front of another business who have looked at your profile and have said, let's talk about how we can help each other. Because that's the connection that we're bringing. Because you'll walk out of that room with an opportunity that you can then translate and grow business. And so we want those things to actually happen. We have several other opportunities. I mean, talk about the food, it was amazing. So we are also going to be having international cuisine, because that's a big part of doing business with Niger Delta, is to be able to appreciate the cuisine and appreciate the culture. So we want folks to also do that. So thank you very much for having me. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in October. Thank you, Austin. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for sharing your information. Much appreciated for that. At this point, I want to call on Wansela. Please, sir. He's from the Georgia Department of Economic Development, and he has something to share with us. Thank you very much. Please give him a round of applause. Thank you.
Well, hello everybody, good afternoon. My name is Juan Cuellar. He did a very good job pronouncing my name. Feel proud of him. So this is the favorite part of my job, you know, to be able to communicate, network, and also collaborate with people like the, Delta State, with my new friend Austin, and everybody in the room, because I feel like, as you guys know, Georgia for the last 10 years, and if this is news to you, they are good news. For the last 10 years, Georgia has been ranked as the best state in the country to do business. And that's not on behalf of my office or my department. That is a collaboration of so many sectors in the state, at a political level, at a private business level, economic developers, and also, why not, the federal level. So we are proud to say that we have, if not, of course I have to be biased about my state, otherwise, I lose my job. But I feel like Georgia, I've been in the private sector before, and Georgia is really strong in doing partnerships, taking action, collaborating, and most importantly, be business friendly, like our dear Senator James mentioned about, and Ricardo elaborated on that opportunities about this event in October. So what I want to say, I'm going to give you the short version about my office or our division, and I like to play a very brief video. You guys gonna like it, because that's the video that I play every morning before I go to work. It's an amazing video about my office, our trade team. So I hope everything goes well, we just connect to this one, and I'm gonna stay quiet. Go ahead. click. It's not playing? Okay, that's fine. Okay, so, yeah, I just click on the play button. If you are online, you should be able to do it. If not, then we can continue. Yeah, right there. Click, there you go. Well, it's my lucky day. If you can bring the volume up.
Creating jobs, driving global visibility by exporting their products and services internationally. But turning your Georgia business into a global business can seem a bit daunting. There's a lot of work to know, and many companies don't know where to start. So we'll make it easy. Start here with the state's award-winning international trade team. We help local businesses with global aspirations. First, we listen to learn about your business and what needs your goals. Then we provide a wide range of customized programs and services. Count on us for in-depth insights, like how-tos and complex work. Industry and country-specific data. Turn to us for global connections with representatives in strategic markets around the world. We bring Georgia businesses like yours together with the ideal international audience. It's all about opening doors to a world of new opportunities and new profits, no matter how big you are. Today, Georgia businesses of all sizes are exporting high-quality products and services, working with international partners in every corner of the planet. So if you want to turn your Georgia business into a global business, get started right here. We help from the Georgia Department of Economic Development's International Trade Division.
Thank you. So, okay, so as I was saying before, we good? Okay. Yeah, so technology and yeah, it was my other me saying the things that I already said. So what I like to say, you know, as a compliment of this great video, because it's a comprehensive view of what we do. Okay. So, okay, that's better. Anyway, sorry about that. You know, thank you for that support. So what I wanted to do as a, you know, because we're going to get into the panel discussion, you know, and I think that will be more of a collective effort to provide you with what we can do as a state level from my team in our office at GDEC. I want to break down pretty quickly the areas that GDEC, the Georgia Department of Economic Development, is all about. First of all, I always put our team, our office first. We do international trade. We support Georgia-based companies to effectively sell products and services overseas. We have 12 strategic markets around the world. We have it in the Americas, we have few countries in Europe, and then in Asia. Then the other part of GDEC, which is the ones that you have seen in the news, or the ones that they take probably the highlights of our great economic news, weekly, daily, every year, is the foreign direct investment. That part of our office or our department is the one that promotes the investment from companies from around the world to set up, to bring their plants, their skilled work, everything to make their products and services here in Georgia. The other one is the tourism office, which is very important. That's the oldest office in the state. It was probably, if I'm not mistaken, was created like 60 years ago. And it's, as you know, we all like to travel. We bring travelers from around the world to Georgia for business and family fun. And the last one very important for our state in recent years, is the film industry. It's a fact, and I don't expect everybody to be aware of Georgia, but we are number 2 in the country in film production of TV and movies. Number 1 is always going to be California. Number 2 was held by New York, who knows, for many years, but last year we took over. And what it means is that we bring companies, production companies, movies, and they do studios here. We have studios in Georgia, and that's just to give you, because we all talk about numbers, just to emphasize the success of the state of Georgia economic development. Last year, we brought in added impact in the state at all levels, employment, taxes, you name it, $7 billion. So that's a big undertaking about the film industry. So I want to close just by telling you that the role of our office, the Trade Department, and I'm here with my colleague Alejandra Ramirez, is to give you the upper hand in those 12 strategic markets where we are right now. But one caveat about it is that if we don't have the presence in certain countries, we have the network and the connections to put you with those companies or those agencies or those departments in the state of Georgia that will be support you from Georgia. And the other end is the imports. We don't oversee that a lot in the state. We support that, of course. We all need products and services from around the world, but that's something that, you know, we have other trade partners that can help you with that. So thank you so much for this, and I guess now it's like somebody said earlier, we're gonna get our hand dirty, you know, and talk more about trade.
Thank you very much. Want to join us on the panel, please? Thank you. Now for the next panelist, I would like to invite His Royal Majesty to the panel table, please, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir. And also for the final panelist for this first discussion will be our Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Akporo Ato Akporo. Please. And I'm just going to place myself just around the corner.
So we take it back home. No, we are 2 here. It's 1. Take him to Nigeria.
Thank you very much for joining me in this discussion. Just for the audience, we're going to be discussing issues of agriculture, and the title of our discussion will be Agricultural Production in the Niger Delta region. We have all heard about the opportunities that we have in Niger Delta. So we are going to discuss, please, after the panel discussion, if you have any questions, you will see one of our colleagues walking around. Raise your hands up and they will take a note from you, and they will give you a spot for you to make your questions known. Thank you very much for joining us. For this discussion, I want to start with the Royal Highness. You've mentioned in your earlier speech about the opportunities that are available in your region, which is just a smaller part of the Niger digital region. I want you to give us a clear guidance on those resources and how your community or your people are preparing for investors to come in to invest in agriculture specifically, and which areas is more prevalent for you and your community to foster this development. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. Yeah, I think we will all appreciate that the best of the best is as a result of good leadership. If you have a good leadership, you have a good direction. What we have in my kingdom today is a deliberate policy geared towards tapping into areas where people have not looked at before. For instance, I know for sure that palm oil or palm kernel has various uses. But here we are. What we use it for now is possibly for food cooking and eating the raw oil. But I know that with technology, more value can be added. So my people are more interested in getting their farm produce, adding more value to what they currently produce. And we want to see a situation where we can improve on what we produce. There is a school in Ibadan called IITA. They bring special species of cassava, of palm fruit, of even sugarcane. And so that is the area we are looking at now. If we have any businessman in Georgia that wants to go into cassava flour, for instance, the cassava species that we have in my kingdom are special to the extent that the pharmaceutical companies in Nigeria have found it so good that they usually patronize. And I know that beyond the pharmaceutical aspect, there are so many other things that experts can find out from the species of cassava that we have now. And without taking much of your time, I know that the world is ruled by technology now, by tech, and by that, farming is also has to do, a lot of tech can come into farming. Just this afternoon, I was washing my palace from here. It's as a result of tech. Yeah, a lot of my workers will not even know that I'm washing them. Okay, I wash them from my phone. I wash them. So we are now in a stage where if you have a massive farm from the state of Georgia, you can monitor what is happening in Niger to know that your farm is safe, to know that your workers are not being funny, because no investor will want to put money into a place where the return will not be as expected. So I'm assuring of security. I'm also assuring of dedication to ensure that whoever is investing in that land will not regret. Because I like to be coming here. So if your investment there are not doing well, I can't come here. So I want to sign a guarantee that should you invest in my land and the investment is not giving return, I will not come here again. The only reason I can come boldly is to see that your investment is doing well. I think that is the way to go. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You've mentioned a lot of things, and I want to bring our Honorable Speaker, Deputy Speaker, to come in here. The King has mentioned investment in land, and obviously we know about palm oil, cassava, that we can invest in agricultural and commercial agricultural processes that will create jobs and obviously make his community and investors' return on investment profitable. I think I want to ask you, Honorable Deputy Speaker, in terms of legislative strategies to encourage investment in farm and agriculture within the Niger Delta region, can you share with us what are those strategies that the legislative arm can kind of put in place to assist the investors that are coming from the West, Atlanta, or anybody that is listening? What kind of legislative strategy is in place that will protect their investment and ensure that their investment, they have return for investment?
Thank you, Mr. Moderator. Our King, His Royal Majesty, has spoken about his kingdom, Jere Kingdom, and he's very well aware that we have 24 kingdoms in the Urhobo land. Just in the Urhobo land, Urhobo is a tribe in Delta, and those kingdoms are homogeneous. When I say homogeneous, they have almost the same soil texture, and whatever you grow in, they say can grow in Okpe, can grow in Agbon, where I come from. So cassava planting, rubber, what if palm oil is homogeneous soil. So if you invest in GC, you can as well invest in other part of Urhobo land, and even by extension Delta State and Niger Delta. Now, as a legislature, Delta State House of Assembly has put in place anti-open grazing law. Before now, before 2021, we used to have people bring their cows to roam the streets, roam the farms, destroy crops, and with little or no compensation to the farmers. So the state in 2021 made a law, passed a bill into law called Livestock Breeding, Rearing and Marketing Law 2021. The law has been there for 3 years without proper implementation. When I came on board last year as Deputy Speaker, I happened to be the chairman of the House Committee on Legislative Compliance. So it is my responsibility to ensure that every law that has been made in the state is complied with, and I've taken that as a very serious aspect of my job in ensuring that the law on open grazing, which we call anti-open grazing, is implemented. To that extent, people are going back to their farms because the fear of the S-men, or whatever we call them, whether Fulani S-men, Igbo S-men, Urhobo S-men, Yoruba S-men, was stopping people from going to their farms at a point. But right now, I can tell you, my name is in the news everywhere, trying to ensure that the police, I've invited the police commissioner, the commissioner of police in Delta State to my office. I've invited every head of security agency to tell them if our community vigilante, that is local security, apprehends any header in any guise with his cow, don't release the header, charge the person to court, because that's what the law says. You have to keep your, like in Georgia and some other developed countries, you ranch your cow. You don't just graze openly to destroy crops. So we are doing that to ensure that farming is encouraged. So that is one aspect about it. Then two, the state has also passed a law against youth restiveness, where youth will come to you and say, "Okay, we are from this area. You can't be farming here without paying us the development levy." So we have a law against development levy. To that extent, nobody will disturb you whether you are doing your farms or you are building estate any longer. If they do, you draw attention of government to it, they will be arrested. So I'm making every law that will encourage farming, because before the discovery of oil in 1956, Nigeria was living on farming. We were living very well. In fact, according to some proponents, they say the oil brought hardship to the country. The advent of oil made us to overlook farming. But right now, we're going back to the farm because there's hunger. You can't buy beans. Before, beans used to be cheaper than rice. Now, this is more costlier than rice. You can't buy anything. Even the garri that we produce locally, you can't buy it anymore. So people are going back to farm, and there's no money in farm now. So we encourage farmers from Georgia and across the globe who are ready to do mechanized farming. The lands are there, and government institutions will support you, and government will provide you some tax relief to ensure that you can farm in Nigeria. There are a lot of things you can do: cucumber, cashew nut. I met one of my great alumni here who is into farming in Nigeria. He's here with us. He has a big farm, cashew farm in Oyo. I've just told him to come and replicate seed in Delta. So thank you very much for this opportunity to be on my talk. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. The next question will be for John. This is more of in terms of the economics of the agricultural sector within the Niger Delta. And my question will be to you is, how can the unique natural resources of the Niger Delta, diverse crop, fisheries, and waters, be leveraged to create sustainable agricultural value chain and improve economic outcomes for local communities, from your experience being a trade person?
So the question is my perspective of that situation, but being local.
Yes, so we've heard from the King about the natural resources that are available, and he is happy to provide the land, and also the Deputy Speaker have talked about legislature to protect security and protect investment. So how do we, as a small community, from a international trade person's perspective, utilize these resources that have been spoken about so far to kind of enhance the economic development using agriculture as a platform and encourage people?
Yeah, that's a great question, and thank you for that. So based on my findings, experience, and talking to the Georgia farmers in the agriculture, food and beverage sectors, number one is there is an emphasis here in Georgia in particular, because we are as Senator James mentioned, and I like to use this word because it resonates with everybody who is in here, with Your Majesty. We all have here for the same purpose, to develop our economies, our communities, our countries, in this case, the state of Georgia. So to your point, sustainability is something that is seen by the major markets where Georgia has participation in major trading partners around the world, is something that has been emphasized when we are trying to promote the product. So I'm not a scientist, I'm not a agricultural engineer, and I perhaps cannot focus my comments on the process or what is the best way to really implement some policies for your great kingdom. But what I have to say is that based on my experience talking to our clients here in Georgia, and this was highlighted by here my friends at this table, is that technology, right? Technology is amazing if it's focused for the development of the whole community. It could benefit just a few people, it could benefit just a few companies, or it could benefit only the buyer, the seller, and the supply chain of the seller. But what we see in Georgia is that technology is applied in sustainability to make the production more efficient at a lower cost, not to sell the products from your country, your kingdom, at a lower cost, but the most important part of my job is to highlight the Georgia companies. In this case, I hope, Your Majesty, that one day, and probably is in place, that you will have some kind of a mirror of our great department. And I'm speaking that in very humble terms. It doesn't have to be like the Georgia way, but we have seen that what has been done by the Department of Agriculture in probably the last 20 years has been benefiting those communities that you said, because sometimes large countries, small countries, or medium-sized countries give the opportunity to smaller countries like my home country, Costa Rica, and your kingdom, that I'm not saying is small, but it's part of the great country of Nigeria. So they give the opportunity, and if they don't see what they're looking for in sustainability, they might give you a chance, a second chance. Otherwise, they look to your neighbors or the other markets around the world. So I feel like technology and creating a plan to enforce those policies, which take planning, and most importantly, you have to have the right team to be part of that action plan.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that answer. We're talking about sustainable development in agriculture, and a big part of sustainable development in agriculture is the continuity, or is encouraging continuity in agriculture. And one of the ways to encourage continuity is to provide incentives and training for young people to kind of adopt agriculture as a career path and a process of economic development. So I would like to ask a question in terms of how do we, I think I'll keep this open to any of the panelists, so if you want to just pop in and answer the questions, that would be great. How do we encourage our youth in terms of, you mentioned something very important, which is technology, and the youth are more inclined to use technology, and it attracts them to a particular type of career job. How do we leverage technology and encourage youth participation in agriculture within the Niger Delta region? So I'll leave this question for any of you to answer. How do we encourage our young people to adopt agriculture as a career path? And also, one mentioned technology and incorporating technology in terms of if it's training, mechanized farming. How do we blend this together to ensure sustainability in the agricultural sector within the Niger Delta?
There is nothing that is good that will not be appreciated by any living person. Only recently, there is a booming industry in Delta now. People recycling bottled water, empty bottled water. Before now, drainages have issues. They are blocked with bottled water, empty bottled waters. But from nowhere, somebody came, they are interested. So on their self, they go to the drainage to remove the old bottled water, wash them up, and sell them. If you tell the Nigerian youth, the Niger Delta youth, that farming is a new thing that will sustain them, they are ready to go back. What we needed, or what they needed, is the right counsel at the right time. Get a farm estate of a 10-kilometer square together and put 200 young men there with a pay as good as that of a civil servant, with greater opportunity of being sponsored from there to get more knowledge about farming. And you see people resign from government institution and they go back there. We used to have a company, it's still in existence, called Shell BP, Shell Petroleum. In the days of old, their salary was so small that people were leaving Shell to go to Delta State Company that has a better pay. The situation in Nigeria, or in the Niger Delta, is what can can sustain people, what can survive them better. We all know that times are hard. So if farm is now the in thing, is now the new gold, then you will see the power, the strength of some young men. They want to stay from 6 to 6 because the more they stay, the more they get paid. A lot of young people come to Europe. They make more money in Europe because they work more. You don't stay at home and make more money. So if you work for an hour in Europe for $500, for instance, and you know that if you work for 12 hours, that will give you $6,000. Who told you I will not work for 24 hours? So that is how the farm looks like now. Farm should go beyond feeding yourself to ensuring that you are making money. In my palace, I have a section that is fenced out of people's view where I get fresh fruit. I have up to 5 or 6, 7 varieties. Coconut, I have plantain, I have oranges, I have them there. They are not they are part of the palace, but they are not seen by visitors. So when I want to eat fresh fruit, I send somebody there, go and get them. But if I had to go to the market, I will not get them as fresh as they are there. So in terms of promoting food sustainability, I think the first thing that we have to promote is promoting farming. Once you promote farming, sustainability becomes, because there must be product for you to sustain. So that is the way I look at it. Various kingdoms, various states, going back to agriculture. The former president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo, is vastly known for farming. He has farmed into poultry, into this, into that. But first we must feed ourselves before we talk of how to sell. So to wrap it up, Nigerians are not lazy people. Africans are not lazy people. Niger Deltans are not lazy people. In fact, there's nobody that is lazy in the world. If you were lazy before, the economy will make you strong. Of course, you know if you don't work, you will not eat. He's not from America. What is he doing here? He wants to survive. Better than his people. He comes from Costa Rica. He wants to live better than his people there. His peers over there, some of them are not doing as well as he's doing now. I will not be here as a king if I don't want better things for my people. Just like the biblical days, say manners are falling from heaven. They don't fall into a bedroom. You go struggle for it. I'm struggling for my people. In the process, I'll be sustained. Just like the Honorable Deputy Speaker. So we are in the world to sustain ourselves before sustaining others. You can't give what you don't have. We have the land, yes. We want to give the land, yes. We want to survive from the land. I think that is the situation. As in terms of security, security will be there. Because virtually everybody that is strong, that can make trouble will be in the farm. And so he will not be on the street. He will also be in the farm, and nobody can come to the farm to make problem because he is there. I think that is the situation. That's where we're going. Thank you.
Let me just add a word or two. You asked him about tech. Every one of you asked for, now you know how to Google. I will just employ you to Google Presco Nigeria Limited. It's a foreign company that deals on palm oil. They plant palm trees, they harvest it, turn it to red oil, convert the red oil to groundnut oil. Presco Nigeria Limited, they have huge turnover on a yearly basis. They brought in some tech to their farming, fertilizers and what have you. Now there's a huge land, which we call Sahara Desert in our place, from Ethiopia's boundary to Iskedo, to Edo, which is Edo State.
It's called the grassland of
we call it Sahara Desert. Yes. We call it Artu in our language. It's just desert, nothing grows on it. But when Presco came in there, they planted the palm trees and they grew and they are harvesting it. You know, why were they able to plant it? Because they added fertilizers. Maybe they looked for they look for the kind of palm tree that will grow in such desert. So I can tell you that our people working there are over 20,000. Now, over 20,000. They go to different communities to get workers with their vehicles, and those vehicles, they also lease them from contractors. So they have over 20,000 direct jobs. They have also created indirect jobs for contractors, people who own trucks, because they don't buy trucks to load the banga, to carry their workers. So we need company like that. If we have another company like Presco, I think those, because in those days people will feel ashamed when they say I'm going to the farm. But with Presco, they say I work with Presco, I work for Presco. They are paid per hour. They are paid as you go. If you work 8 hours, they pay you 8 hours. If you work 10 hours, they pay you 10 hours. So people are proud to say, I work in Presco. The money they wear their boots, you see their cutlasses or their shovel with them. They tell you, that Presco at the work. And when you ask them, when you are graduate, they say, Presco pays me 300,000 at the end of the month. How much is civil servant earning? Civil servant, new minimum wage in Nigeria now is less than $45. It's 70,000 naira. And the dollar, as I yesterday, was 169 naira to $1. So the minimum wage in Nigeria, but paid by government, either the national, state, or local, is 70,000 naira, less than $50. Now, the Presco staff can work $200 in a month because it's working in the farm. So people want to work if they see good pay. So I just implore you to Google Presco Nigeria Limited. You see their turnover, and I will appreciate more of such Presco coming to Niger Delta region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will just ask this last question to the panelists, then we can open up for full discussion. I think we've said a lot, and someone that is not very conversant with Niger Delta and the resources and everything that is available there will be wondering, if all these things are available, the resources are available, the legislative arm of the Delta State is coming to say that we are providing these policies, and this the king is saying, so everything seems to be working fine. So the big question, or the big elephant in the room, will be, what are the main challenges facing agricultural development in the Niger Delta region? Considering factors like environmental degradation, climate change, how climate change impacts, and socio-economic issues. Now, I want to see from your perspective, what you think are the challenges. If we have all these resources, we have the human and material resources, the legislative is enhancing agriculture. What are the challenges? Why aren't we producing? Why is food still short in Niger Delta?
Thank you. If we say there's food shortage in the Niger Delta, we're lying to ourselves. Lying to ourselves because I know that we feed ourselves, but we can do better if there is support. And most things, sometimes you speak the truth to an audience like this. I was a media practitioner for 34 years. And whatever you read about the Niger Delta is people trying to amplify their pain in the midst of plenty. It's not as if there are no humans there. It's not as if they are not doing something, but they believe it can be done better. But don't forget that up to 45-60% of the Niger Delta is riverine. There are 6 communities in the Niger Delta. I have one of such communities in my kingdom, where children that are 10 years old start primary school. 10 years old, when some children are leaving high school. At 14, there are children in Niger Delta that start primary school at 10. You might ask me why. That is when they are strong enough to paddle canoe to cross the big river. I have a community in my place I've been battling. The closest community to them is about 6-7 kilometers. So children from that community do not start school until they are 9-10. That is when they can trek. You can't carry the child every day. The father and the mother has to go to farm. The child has to help himself to go to school. So the situation is with people who organize themselves to go into business, there is no result that can be gotten from such a situation. Individual farming settlement, individual farming approach is to feed yourself and your family. But we're looking at the possibility, because the farmland will continue to remain, but the technology that can bring more food during the harvest year can sustain the people better, can sustain our neighbors better. And we also know that this is the only way that we can get some of this technology to our place. Presco, he mentioned, you see somebody with a fine suit in the morning jumping into a bus. I work in Presco. The job specification is not mentioned to those outside. Some of them go there to pick carriers. So the more you pick, at the end of the hour, you have something to feel. You are paid. We are coming in the evening, you take a good shower, perfume yourself, you come back to the town. I'm a staff of Presco. Okay? So that is the issue. People are doing dirty job all over the world. They are encouraged to do it because of the money. So farming, bringing modern farming technology. There are graduates who are riding Okada machine. Their take home a day is less than 4,000. And 4,000 is like $2 what? Okay? And so, the person might have a wife and 3 black people have many children, and up to 5 or more children. They will survive with that. Each time you see him, you think it's not well. He's well. He's just silly-fitting because of hardship. Of course, his children has to eat, so he has to eat less, and he goes looking for the money. So, wrapping it up, technology can improve our farming. Better funding can improve our farming. Huge investment can improve our farming. And for someone who wants to invest money in farming, what you need is the right environment. The Niger Delta is the right environment. The kingdoms are the right environment, most especially my kingdom. Most especially because I will guarantee security. Yes, I want food for everybody, but I want more for myself and my people. Because with my size, I have to eat more to be able to do more. And so this is the situation. We want people who want to invest in agriculture. We want people who want to invest in tech. You stay in Georgia. From Georgia, you can see my palace. You can talk to me, and if somebody is moving on my farm, I say, yes, I'm also watching the person. The security are there already. That's what we want. The money is here. The farm is there. The tech is here. The farm is there. Bring it down so that together we can make progress. Thank you.
Okay, let me just add that the example I made with Presco is simple. I think they have the organization, they had a good plan, they planned what they wanted to do, then they put resources, finance together to acquire land. The kind of land they have is in thousands of hectares. So you need the organization, you need the finance, you also need the technical know-how to come into our area to farm. You will not lose anything. You also need a long-term plan, maybe say if I plant the palm tree, Presco species takes 2.5 years, that's about 3 years, to start breeding. So for those 3 years, they will be investing and investing. You won't get anything. So for the type of farm we did when we were small with our parents, it's subsistence farming. We're not talking about subsistence farming now. We're talking about mechanized farming. The resources are not there. The financial homes in Nigeria, if you loan money from them, the interest you will pay is very discouraging. So we need people to understand the Presco model. Presco is doing palm tree, that's palm oil, which they convert to ground oil, and they into export. They export their products all around the world. Somebody else, an organization can take over cassava. Can say I want to do cashew. You can say I want to do cucumber. You know, all these things, we have the fertile land for them. Beyond the hydro I was talking about before, hydro power, beyond hospitality business in River Ethiopia, because the river, people come all over the world to come and see the river. So hotels and recreational facilities will be highly welcome. We really need people to understand the Presco, and we'll be very glad to see you come in to Niger Delta to come and invest. Edo State, under the current governor, Basiki, is doing a lot in palm farm. And I think almost all the land in Edo State has been taken over by people who are coming to invest in palm farm, which is palm oil, and all the attributes that come with it, because from palm oil, you get palm kernel, you get biscuits, the shafts are used for biscuits. So many things, you can convert the oil to ground oil. So many things are gotten from palm plantation. Thank you.
And to add finally, just an information. For those who live in London here, each time you fly PA, the water you are given is from River Ethiopia. Yeah. That is to tell you the much the British people have found out about River Ethiopia. It's about the cleanest in the world, about the deepest in Africa. So each water you take on BA is from River Ethiopia. They are bottled in Africa and so move to them. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So quickly, I want to take questions from the audience. Just raise your hands.
Chief also asked about his farm. I know where he's going to go.
I just want to thank the panel and the discussion on farming, and that's one of the reasons that I'm here in the first place. Because when Dr. Dema and the moderator here called me, and he says Niger Delta Development is coming here, and they will talk about farming, I said, I'm going to be here. Because if you look on page 62 of the brochure, and that is me and my wife on that ad. About 6 years ago, we decided that, well, we've been here for too long, and we want to go home and do some farming. So what are we going to do? As a child growing up, in Urobo, we call it a Berukba. At 14 years old, I was a Berukba, before God helped me to come back to this country. So I decided that we will go back and do that, but we will not do it the way I did it when back in the days. We want to try to do something more advanced. So we started buying land. The first one we bought was a small land just to try it, and we planted about 1,000 palm trees. 6 months later, the herdsmen with their cow destroyed the whole farm to the ground. Nothing came out of it. We spent about probably about 5 million naira on the farm. So I was discouraged, but my wife said, no, you can't be discouraged. We're not going to stay here forever, so we're going to continue. So we decided to acquire more land. So we bought, in Mosoga, we bought 158 acres of land. So I'm not going to tell the story of community problem. I'm going to come down to the issue of how difficulties in people that want to invest back home. That after you work so hard, you want to invest your money, then you see your money going down the hole. But the discussion that is coming from the panel today, which is fine with me, I see the panel addressing mega farmers. People have plenty of money to come and do a mega farming like Presco. My first question is, well, in this country is sustained by micro businesses. Small businesses sustain this country. You can have Microsoft and all that, but the majority of the people sustaining this economy is small businesses. But I did not see any thing addressed on how individual farmers or local farmers, how the community in Nigeria will help them that want to invest. I consider myself a small farmer because I do not have $1 million to invest. I have enough to invest, but not at that level. So what will the kingdom, the community that the people want to invest, and the government itself will do to help this group of people? Then question number 2, talk about open grazing. The Honorable said there is a law to that effect that cattle are not allowed to go around destroy people's farm anymore. There might be a law, but I beg to differ. As I'm speaking to you now, the cattle are all over the place where my farm is, to the point that the acre that I bought, I went around looking for a way to protect the farm, and people that had farm said that if I want the farm to survive, I have to dig a trench around it. So, back in the days, you can go to Ministry of Works and get an excavator to do that kind of a job. I looked around, I could not find one. One prominent politician, who's a very big man in Nigeria today, if I call his name, all of you know him, came to the convention and promised me an excavator. Then when I went to call him to talk to him, this man insulted me from hell to heaven. I was so disappointed. So if you look at the picture on page 62, the excavator you are seeing there is not a decoration. I have to go and buy that excavator. We bought that excavator for about $70,000. I shipped it to Nigeria from Europe, that we used to dig the farm round. Before now, we started planting. So the issue here is very simple. If I have to invest that much money before I can plant the first one crop, how much money do I have now to sustain the farm going forward? These are areas I think that the community, the government need to come in, which they are not providing. Then the third part of it. Yes, I'm doing the right way. I'm finishing up now. The third part of it is that when we did the local one I did, we beat the palms with your foot. I'm not ready to do that. I'm 70 years old. I'm not doing that. Your Highness talked about mechanized. I was looking everywhere in Nigeria. I walk around where they are making palm fruit. Is pretty much very labor intensive. So is there any way that the government can help to provide some kind of mechanized equipment where you do not have to go through rigorous labor just to extract the product. So that is there are other things I will talk about, but those are the three areas that I want you to address.
All right, thank you very much.
I knew where you were going, and because of the importance that are attached to this conference, let me start this way. Whatever that is good, start from somewhere. My doctorate degree is in development, communication. I share common boundary with Mosuga, the kingdom where you own your land. I want to promise you here and now that I will intervene, not like the other person. Get my number. I will take you to the king there and possibly invest little money on local security and tech we talk about here. I have a friend that lives in Europe. He's into fish farming, massive one. Sometime somebody stream into his farm. He will be the one to call his security people. Check that part of the farm. There's a strange person there. And they are rid of. I quite sympathize with you, with your situation, not physical, but I'm sympathizing with your funny experience. We are changing things. When the Chinese came, they wanted to offer some good money. And I told them, what I want is not the money. What I want is every year 5-kilometer farmland, 1-kilometer community. Even if you do it, we can expand the community. We want to possess the land in terms of being present, physical. Another thing that you need to do is put a structure, preschool, as they are today, in virtually all their plant. People stay there. People stay there. They have doors. If you steal their palm, they bring you down. So, what you are in is a business, a private business that development-oriented people can support you. Government as an institution will have a policy, but the implementation of the policy has to be with people. The Right Honorable Speaker will talk about a lot area of what you have said. I have promised you here and now, give me a call, just 7 days notice. I'll make an arrangement because I'm very mobile. I've been in the outside world. I am now here. So I'm bringing my experience in practice to bear now. I know that for you to develop, you need industry, you need people. A 70-year-old man cannot do investment and one young boy go there and bring them down. You want to go, you need to have something to retire to. You will retire to your old house in the village and begin to tell people how you were doing palm fruit in those days. They need to see the modern things. Let me assure you, even without any hesitation, that I will not only take you to the king of that land, we will ensure that there is a local security arrangement. Your farm has 4 edges. Is that not so? You can get a self-contained here, a self-contained there, round the 4 edge of the farm, and get them 2 or 3 people who patrols the farm, who ward off invaders. That is what Presco does. That is what a lot of other farmers does. If you want to plant rice, you must be prepared to battle with the birds. Okay? Planting rice, farming rice is a big, major business. But once they start to produce, the rice farmer stays in the farm. Not to pursue human beings now, but to pursue birds. Birds. So if human being can stay in the farm to pursue birds, you need human being to stay in your farm to ward off invaders to your life-saving investment. Okay. Thank you, and let the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker conclude this assignment.
Thank you, Your Majesty. My dear brother.
Dear Papa.
Yes, our brother. The wife is there. The wife doesn't want to hear his papa.
Okay.
Okay, sir. We are not undermining micro, small, and medium scale businesses at all. That's not our intention. Our intention on this panel right now is to address international community of Georgia and beyond to come and do farming in Nigeria, in Niger Delta specifically. Now, they will not be coming to do small farms. It's going to be big farms. So that's why we're talking in that term. But that is not to say that we are discouraging small-scale farmers like yourself, or discouraging micro, small, medium enterprises, like you said, is driving the economy of Georgia. That's a big scorecard for us in Delta. The 8 years of His Excellency Dr. Okowa, we established different platforms that will make people to be self-sustaining. We have JEEP, we have YAGEP. YAGEP means youth in agriculture. We have so many programs. We have RISA. We have so many programs that tend to teach the younger generation what to do, whether in farming, in poultry, in tailoring, in fashion design, in makeup, makeover, whatever you call it. And when they finish training for 3 months, they give them a starter pack to be able to start on their own. And we mentor them to ensure they grow in those businesses. So we are not against small scale business. When I spoke earlier, I said last year, June, I was inaugurated as a member of the House of Assembly, and I became Deputy Speaker since the 13th of June precisely. And I was saddled with the responsibility of legislative compliance. The duty of the Legislative Compliance Committee is to ensure that every law that has been made, whether during Midwest to Bender to Delta, is complied with. And one of the laws that I'm pursuing to ensure that it is complied with is this livestock rearing, breeding, and marketing law. If you ask anybody back home, they will tell you there's a marked difference between what is before June last year and now.
That I can attest.
If you ask anybody, they will tell you it's just that we cannot be in every local government and every community at the same time. So some people are still living in the old. They don't, before now, they don't even know there's a law against open grazing. It was us that has to bring it out to say there is a law, and we have invited the local government council chairman to say you must arrest any cattle rearer moving his cattle on leg. Arrest the cattle, arrest the rearer, and take them to the police. So we are still in the process of ensuring that there's total compliance. There's no total compliance, that's what you are saying, but there's a marked difference from what was obtainable last year and now. I can tell you that. I'm not saying this to score any political point. I'm a realist. So for your farm in Mosoga, the council chairman is a Mosoga guy. I know Chris Omugba, he was just inaugurated last week. As I leave here now to my hotel, I'm going to call him that I am in the US to market people to come home, to come out to farm. And somebody for your kingdom, for your place, who owns the farm, complained. So, I wanted to do something about it immediately. Nobody was commissioner for environment, while I was commissioner for urban renewal. So we know ourselves very well. I'm going to call him. Just like he said, he's going to intervene from the traditional side. I'm going to intervene from the political side. The chairman of council is a loyal boy to your brother Shifabulu that you mentioned to me earlier when we had the private discussion. So don't worry, you are going to get some improvement as far as your farm is concerned. You need our protection so that you you can gain from what you are doing. But the discussion here today is about mechanized farming. The press school we talked about today have dug a dish around all their farms. A big dish, no human being can cross, no animal can cross. Even in their farm, they have hunters, they have people they give gun who kills animal and bring it to them. I don't know if you have, so everything is within secure, everything is secure. You might not be able to do that. And government has no business in doing business. People don't take government business seriously. And you know there's high level of corruption in our country. Everybody you see in public office is after what is going to make, not making impact or making input to grow people. So everybody wants to make money. We are supposed to be here in good numbers, but people ask me, what are we going to gain? Who is going to buy my tickets? Okay, am I going to register to attend the summit? For what? That's why we are not seeing them here. But I came because I like meeting people. I want to learn new things, and that's why I'm here. So thank you.
Thank you.
We will give you some
time. Thank you. If there are any other questions, if you can just drop a note or speak with the panelists during our networking session, because we need to move on to the next session.
Somebody's hands is allowed. A woman must speak.
All right. Okay. Yes.
The right of women.
Okay. We will give it to Madam.
No woman speak, no conference.
Thank you very much. My name is Dr. Helena Basute. I'm representing Akwa Ibom State, which is part of the Niger Delta region. I am so happy and delighted to be here. It's very informative, but it's kind of depressing to hear that to do business in Nigeria, you have to go through all the hurdles, building dishes and trenches, all to survive business. Is really very disheartening. So I hope one day we'll have a government that would think of the security of the people and make things happen, because we all want to go back to Nigeria to give back to the people. But hearing the level of insecurity is very not comforting. So I don't know what anybody can do, but I guess we all say we hope that God will come down one day and save Nigeria. Thank you.
Let me also let you know that the developed world started worse than we are now. In the days of old, you know what it takes to do slave trading? First, you own a ship. Second, the ship must be heavily protected so that the slave will not escape. My tribe, the Robo tribes, we left Benin over 1,000 years ago because we were always the people who were asked to chase slaves. When the slaves are escaping, say we are strong, that we are bold, we go and chase them. So in the process, we lost a lot of people. Auchi in Edo State today, Auchi is in Edo State, but it's an Robo community. Yes, because the bold Robo young men that were chasing the Oba slaves, when they got there, the slaves were usually from Igala. And the slaves, since they brought them from Igala, they know the terrain. There is a hilly part that is still dirty tomorrow. So when the Robo strong men got there, they saw the valley very deep. They watched it very well, and they saw that the Igala slave were already on the other side of it. They looked at it and looked at themselves and said, that I will not enter a grave. The people cannot pronounce, they say Auchi. The royal family in that time today, the Momodu, they are originally Robos. It got to the extent that 100, 200 able-bodied men from the tribe of Orobo. They are Republicans, very stubborn people, bold. Each time they rebel against the constituted authority, the royal family, they will line them up. Go and hold a falling big tree. Will you quote Bena? Yes, they will go and wait for the timber to fall. Those people, hundreds and they will go at a time. So the white men that started slave trade, they protected their investment. What we are telling Baba is to protect his investment. We're not discouraging anybody. You own a ship that time. You weighed a lot of iron around it. Because some of the slaves, rather than go to Europe, they'll jump into the river and die. So we don't want his palm tree to jump into the river. Protect your palm tree for tomorrow's interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have a last question?
Good afternoon. So we've agreed technically that there's agricultural business and there's the technology component. This is directed to the man from the OECD. Would it be possible to have like a training center for agriculture and technology, then probably in one place, then having campuses around the Niger Delta region? Because we can start that immediately.
Yes, thank you for the concern and interest in supporting your country. Normally, this type of initiatives or requests from, they come from all over the country, they come from all over the world, is something that it belongs to or is addressed to a higher level of my position. But I will. If I don't think we met before, so I can give you my business card so we can follow up. But just to kind of give you more insight about this type of agreements or arrangements that we do bilaterally with other countries is something that the state of Georgia provides amazing resources to companies here in Georgia. Every state is different. In our state, it's not really, I wouldn't call it lack of resources of interest, but the focus of our proactive approach to make Georgia prosper in other countries like you, because trade equals development, equals prosperity, equals growth, equals a standard of living rise, is something that perhaps if I share this kind of a desire of yours with the people or, at a higher level, I will be glad to address it that. But yes, to be frank with you, there are some agreements, but they are seeing in individual basis. And it's, there is a saying here in the States that perhaps you have something in Nigeria is about my pay grade level, so I will not make any commitments on that yet.
Okay. Thank you very much. And that's an important point. I'm sure our Gisela will come to you on that, because you did mention security and technology, and one of the main things that have come out here is that with the youths, when the youths are encouraged good income, technology, they will be able to adopt agriculture as their main career path. However, we do need the training in place and also partnership with the likes of your great organization to help foster that. Thank you very much for your time. I want to say thank you all to the panelists. Thank you, Your Honorable. Thank you, His Royal Highness. And thank you, John. Thank you very much. Give them a round of applause. Thank you very much. At this point, I want to recognize the presence of Georgia State's rep.
Let the three panelists take a photograph.
Thank you very much. No, please sit down. Thank you very much. I want to. Thank you very much. Thank you.
I have to get to the office to wrap up my day.
Thank you so much. I want to quickly recognize the presence of the Georgia State Rep, Honorable Rep Adelina. Thank you very much. Welcome very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Adelina. Shegun Adelina. Right, we are quickly going to go to the next session. Okay. We'll take a 2 minutes break, and if you want to take a comfort break, please do that, then we'll start the next session in about 5 minutes. Thank you very much.
On the soldier. Soldier, if you ball, all the soldiers will play ball, and younger ones. If the soldier, some soldier. He's also a member of the party. King of the city. All right. Okay, I promised that I was coming. I know.
King, I have a lot of questions.
I wish you were continuing.
A lot of questions to ask. I've traveled. I've been not just traveling, but resident. Live in Ghana, live in Jamaica. I live in Jamaica, work in Jamaica.
Yes.
Live here from Niger Delta. I know before I'm in Nigeria, I'm a traditional person. Tradition. There's a constitution, there's a law by Nigeria. You know, there's a lot of things to bring. My uncle was a consular to Jamaica. So I've been in Jamaica.
Princess, I spoke well.
I'm good.
Princess was outside.
You spoke very well. I like it. And another thing again, well, me and you will talk about. We need to ask questions, but they're not giving us the opportunity.
I see this as gate opening for bigger events. I believe in this concept of a little thing becoming bigger.
Yes, that's right.
And so I do not undermine any gathering. It can be 10, but reason like 200% then, okay? So that is what for some African countries, you have to pay them.
Exactly.
But this time around, it's a modernized way. The last time I had audience with we represented the most communities of Nigeria in the village.
We're not done, just a little break.
I told Buhari,
There's another section here.
What is connected to you now? I told Buhari that it is strange for you to give the protection of my house to a stranger. To a stranger.
It's a coffee break.
And he said, what? I say I want us to try a new concept.
Me too, I don't do coffee.
The new concept is give the protection of this installation to a local. If he fails, hold me responsible. And that is how they give Tombolo the pipeline substance. And today that is with magic.
Are they starting back? That's what I said. 10 minutes. long time? Long time ago, over 25 years.
Yes. What is sustainable? What he did with that loan, he took the loan with about
So many stuff.
So, but through Tom Polo's effort, we are now at 1,600. So the differential is for us. Keep up on it. So this I did that. Yes, I told you, I still have a visual. So if you take me to the White House, I'll tell you this problem.
Yeah.
Right? I'll tell you. The boldness had to be met.
Hello, everyone.
Start back.
Hello, can we have our seats, please?
10 minutes. Okay.
I must stay for him. I must stay.
Can we have our seats, please? Thank you very much. Let us round this session up today.
Very hungry now. Yes, I'm with you. Engineer, this is what I was waiting for. This should be more food. This is because
Coaches.
No, they have to, I have to do fast. They have to
What's your last name? Clemens. Honorable.
Chief.
Can we all have a seat, please? Can we all have our seats, please? Thank you very much. Thank you. We'll continue with the next session. Thank you very much. Please have our seats. Please have your seat, please. Thank you very much. Thank you. The next session is going to commence with our honorable brother, Chief Curtis Clemens. He's going to discuss with us in the topic of security. Mr. Curtis Clemens, thank you very much. Can we all give him a round of applause?
So what I'll do is that.
Okay. I won't even touch it. Now go ahead and get that set up for me. All right. Yeah. All right, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Chief Curtis Clemens, formerly Deputy Chief of Investigations for the Gwinnett County District Attorney's Office and retired from Gwinnett County Police Department after 35 years of law enforcement experience. Today I'm going to talk to you about security. Next slide, please. One of the things that when it comes to security, you have heard several things today. You have heard sustainable development, and you have heard security, but here's another one that also needs to be considered, and it's called quality of life. For everyone up and down the Delta, they need security, they need sustainable development, and they need a good quality of life. Not only for those people that are there, but much like you, the folks that want to come back and build your property and have your farms and everything, you got to have a solid, sustainable quality of life. What you take a look at is some of the problems in the slide that we have right here. We have some of the problems that's been happening. We've been having farms that have been raided. oil theft, siphoning. We've been having soil erosion, problems with the environment, with the oil spills. That ends up affecting not only the land when it starts flooding, but also infects the food source, the fish. You lost several of the species of trees and fruits and vegetables that you could normally eat. You can't eat them anymore because of the oil spills and other issues. We've got protesters and people who are purposely sabotaging the land and the property up and down the Delta because, and this is the big issue that we're going to talk about, there's a lack of security. There's giant holes in the security issues that need to be dealt with because people are sabotaging and you're having problems over there because there has been no buy-in from the people and the tribes up and down the Delta where they see where it benefits them. And this is crucial. And as a result, you end up having a loss of revenue. Next slide, please. When we start talking about crime, which is a big issue, this is part of the problems that we're having. There's crime. Click. What is crime? Crime is a desire. You got to have a desire, or in this case, your motive. We have some issues here because this was done on a Mac book and not a PC, but hopefully we'll get through this. But the desire, what is your motive for committing the crime? For a lot of the people, it's because they don't have buy-in to the process that's going on in the Delta right now. They don't have food. They don't have sustainable jobs to be able to feed their families. Next, please. Then, after they have the desire and the motive to commit a crime and be able to get the things that they feel that they need, they have to have the ability to be able to do that crime. And then what happens across the board is you have wide holes where there's no security, there's easy access, as we got here, which grants people the ability to be able to go in and steal food, take over lands, take over farms, and other issues like that, because there is a huge hole, there's a lot of huge holes in security along the Delta. Next, please. And what happens? That gives them the opportunity. Timing is everything. And if you better believe that if somebody is watching you, they're watching the land, they're looking for the opportunity to be able to come in and take what they need to sustain themselves and sustain their families. Next. But as you take a look at this chart, if you take away any one of those three elements, it makes it more difficult for people to commit a crime. Also, it simultaneously makes it easier to investigate and find out who commits that crime so that they can be dealt with. Next slide. A little problem here. One of the newest things in technology is not new, but is new for many people. And you've heard this word too all day long, technology. There has to be an investment in technology in the Delta and all the regions throughout the Delta if you're going to be successful in this venture that is going to cost money, it's going to cost time, and it's going to cost teamwork. If you have closed circuit television, you can't hardly see it right there, but if you have closed circuit television, next please, you can cover and view a larger span of area. You see a little asterisk mark down there and it says Ukraine. Anybody familiar with the war going on in Ukraine right now? Okay. What's happening in Ukraine? This is a very small country that is going up against a huge country like Russia. But they are kicking Russia's butt. I can't put it any other way. They're kicking Russia's butt. Why? Because they're using technology like this, like drones. And with drones, you can cover a large area that requires few people, because you could have, as you see in this picture right here, you could have literally one person watching 10, 12, 15 monitors and be able to cover a much wider area so they can see what's going on, and as they can see it in real time and then be able to direct law enforcement or those people who are assigned to patrol that area directly to where the problem is. Next, please. It's digital. You can record it. You can watch it as it's happening in real time, and because it's digital, it's easy to save. And as his owner said here earlier, he's here, but he can see what's going on back at the house on his phone. Same thing. You could be anywhere in the world, but still be able to see what's going on that particular property with these drones. It's digital evidence, it's easy to save, it's easy to share. You could send it through an email, you could send it through a text nowadays, and it makes it easier to prosecute and find these people who are committing the crimes. Next, please. Here's going to be the problem, and here's partially what we are doing here today and what we hopefully will continue to be doing in the future, is building an alliance. Everyone in this room and everyone associated with the Niger Delta project, we are all teammates. We are all on one team. And so what happens, we have to build alliances through community engagement. What does that look like? No matter what you do, whenever you have an agreement with anyone, what do you have to have? Everybody's looking at what's in it for me. We have to reach a compromise. We've got to work with each other, and everybody wants to know what's in it for me. Next slide, please. You have to have the security. Again, same word, we keep hearing security. Security of your resources. What are your resources that we're looking at right now? We're looking at your oil. That's going to be your big money maker right there, obviously. Water, fresh water, drinkable, clean water, food. And what many people forget is one of your biggest resources is people. And people are going to ask, what's in it for me? And this is where your community engagement comes in. You may not be able to provide jobs for everyone to be able to give them those good paying jobs, but maybe, just maybe, as an organization, as the Niger Delta regional organization, maybe you could have periodically community events that bring the tribes together, bring people together, and come out and maybe provide some food, something like, much like a little bag that we have here today. People could walk away from a community event with some bread, some food, some fish, whatever the case may be, and guess what? They begin to feel better about what the project is. And they go, okay, this is now benefiting me. This is what I'm getting, this is what I'm getting out of it. We're getting oil, which is a sustainable resource. All the countries are making money. We're getting fresh water that we can drink, fish, food that we can feed ourselves and our families with, and a natural resource, the people up and down the Delta, because now they have buy-in. They see that it is beneficial to them. Next slide. So you reach your goal. It's sustainable economic growth because everybody has to be invested in this project. And right now, we have people who want to come back, who want to invest in the project. People who are there who want to invest in the project, but what they're looking at is there are security issues, and these are the issues that have to be addressed. And I think we could do that with the use of drones. You can employ people, personnel, but you don't have to employ as many when you have the drones. The drones don't get sick. The drones don't have to worry about being fed. You might have to recharge them, but you don't have to worry about feeding the drones. You don't have to worry about the drones getting sick. You cover a much larger area, you're more productive, and you can direct your security forces to where the problem is, so that the people who are there and people like this gentleman back here who want to come back and invest in the property, they begin to feel safe. They feel like the area is covered. Drones are silent, they're quiet. And this, I promise you, will guarantee sustainable economic growth. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. The Niger Delta is in Nigeria. Yes. Nigeria is a third world country. Mm-hmm. There's corruption within the security forces in third world countries. Mm-hmm. So this model cannot work with the federal security system. It either has to be private or regional security system. Are you in a position to guide us and direct us how to form the regional security system?
Well, that is something I think there may be a misnomer about. The drones can be very cost effective. They're not that expensive, even as, you know, with the corruption that you're talking about and other issues. They are fairly cheap. Some time ago, back in 2022, I was invited to the Federal Medical Center in Abuja, where I discussed with the medical director there, Saad Ahmad, about the training of the security forces and community engagement. And this is what we're talking about. You got to give people a buy-in. The drones would probably be, as early as you would want to get those drones in there, but you've got to get buy-in first from the community, like we were talking about earlier, is having something to get the youth involved. But you also have to look at what are the people's needs. You can start there, trying to meet some of the basic needs of the people with some food, or, you know.
So I can give you some information for free.
Pardon me?
So I can give you some information right now for free.
Yes, you can get information.
No, I'm giving you maybe between 15 to 25% of the oil produced in Nigeria, in the Niger Delta, is stolen on a daily basis.
Yes.
So that theory of the oil, forget it. The buying, we have to come up with a new model. That's what I'm trying to say.
So
that doesn't require an extensive partnership. And you are in a position to help us design that model.
Absolutely. As I said, this is an amalgamation of everyone coming together as team. We're all teammates in this right now. And moving forward, we're having a summit so we can identify issues that need to be addressed, and then we can come together and we can address those issues and make sure that they are done. It's not going to happen overnight. I can tell you that this is something that has the capability. It can be done. It must be done. And together as a team, it will be done.
So to add to what he said, so we as Niger Delta People's Movement, a civil society organization, will have to take action. It's our responsibilities, collective responsibilities as Niger Deltans, as Nigerians, to enforce what we hear here today. You know, so we won't just, it's all been negative, negative, negative. Now it's time for action. So we've seen models and we hear policymakers saying things are put in place. Now let us hold everybody accountable and hold ourselves accountable.
Thank you. Just to add to that, what he's saying is that the drones will make it more efficient, because once you put certain devices in place, now you can implement something, because regardless if you do physical security, you have to still get there. But this way, what he's talking about is being able to have it to where the drones are programmed. So it might be in section east, west, north, south, and the devices will indicate go north. And then your drones can be deployed to whereas they can be strategically deployed to whereas now it's efficient in being able to help whoever be able to catch the criminal. Was that right?
You was absolutely right. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. We appreciate you. One of the questions I wanted to ask, you know, in Nigeria we have the issue of electricity.
Yes.
Does the drone run with electricity, or is there a method that they can run without it?
It's very rare to find gas-powered drones. Most drones do run on power, like electricity, that you're going to have to charge them up. Those are probably going to be the best ones that you get, but a lot of them do come with sizable lithium batteries. Are you familiar with like the Tesla vehicles? You know, that's made with the lithium, the large-scale lithium battery, but they have the smaller ones that they put in drones. So one, they'll last a long time on one charge. And having been in Nigeria, we went through a couple of the power outages and stuff there before. So I completely understand that. But with these drones, you could charge it up. If you can get a good solid 8 hours charge, it can last 12 to 14 hours of flying time. So if you've got a camera on it, like the one that we had in the picture, if you've got a camera on it and it's attached, like you said, it can be dispatched to a particular area once the sensors pick up some type of motion, and you can direct that drone directly to that area. And it may require that law enforcement be sent to that particular area, or it may just be an animal that has crossed over into that field. So we can, at that point, we can disregard it, and then we could then put that drone back out into another area, constantly surveying the area on a much larger scale than having a bunch of troops scattered all over the place with no direction. These drones will give them a particular direction. Well, the problem has already been spotted, where you know you have on video, on camera, perpetrators who are stealing property, siphoning oil, and ultimately causing a loss in the revenue.
Thank you so much.
Sir.
My name is Peter Japamira, and my question is, so the drone addresses detection and prosecution of intrusion into these secured places, or the places that are trying to be secured. So you mentioned community engagement as a way to prevent. So when the people in the community have a good positive outlook on the business of the investor, they are less likely to have an issue with the investor being able to smoothly run their business. Are there like any other ways, based on your security expertise, that you think businesses or investors can deter people in concert, so alongside having the drone, someone watching the drone, and also someone watching the drone that's able to alert law enforcement?
Absolutely. If you saw in the picture and in that PowerPoint slide, there was a gentleman in there, he was watching all these screens. And each of those screens that he was watching would represent one drone that is out covering that entire area. So you don't necessarily have to have people there. It becomes a visibility issue. Once people actually see that the drones are up and essentially patrolling the area, nobody wants to get caught by those drones because they know law enforcement will be coming soon. So it's a visibility issue with the drones. That would be a preventative. Again, you're taking away the opportunity because they don't want to be seen by the drones, so you take away that opportunity, and you want maybe to stop the desire. Maybe if they can't get in this area, they'll try another area, but hopefully we've got a drone down there as well. And so you've got an issue where you've got the drones up, they're covering the area, law enforcement can be directed to the problem, and then as far as community engagement, yes, as the old saying, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Okay, so if you have the organizations, these companies that are out there engaged in the community, and you're providing food, sometimes providing jobs, and helping the people along the way as best you can, I know it's a huge, expensive project and it's going to take time, but you have to start slow. You're going to make incremental, steps into the community and create that engagement, and you're not going to bite the hand that feeds you, because you're going to have a better perspective and a better feeling about the companies and what they're trying to do. And hopefully, human nature. Human nature is you're just not going to go against something that's actually helping you and your family. So that's kind of where we go with that one. Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
Hello, everyone. Brenda Ortiz. Can these items work at night too? You have night vision?
At night, drones, yeah, absolutely. Drones don't sleep. They're 24 hours. Like I said, typically on one drone, if it's got a lithium battery, it can be in flight for 12 to 14 hours before you have to bring it back and charge it up. Sir.
Yes, Niger data deserves security, and I know that security is very important in whatever you do. Drone is one system to mitigate that kind of gaps. But in Nigeria, it's really difficult for you to implement that.
because it's new technology. Even we look at the even common cameras, doorbells, they don't even have that. It's difficult. So we have to start talking about technology, having smart cameras everywhere. They don't have that. You see, maybe it's the elite that may try to have the CCTV cameras or big cameras. So drone have to be something, you have to be more education, have to be passed through to people in the community and training, and you also need licenses to fly drone in some area, even in the United States. So I know about drones a lot. But in that region, I'm saying that, is there any educational system? Have you studied Nigeria system or the Niger Delta area, whether they are allowed to have a drone without a license? Because I know Nigeria shoot a lot of movies and they use drone, most of their photography and all that. So what is the awareness, education about drone in this area that you can implement through those Nigerian authorities?
I couldn't tell you what the law is in Nigeria regarding the height restrictions on the drones, because that's typically what people are worried about is the height restrictions because of planes and helicopters and other things like that. But typically in the U.S., as long as it stays under 200 feet, which is, roughly about tree level, that once you go above that, that's when you have to get the FAA license in order to be able to operate the drone. But I can tell you in many agencies throughout the country, like where you saw the picture where the gentleman had the like about 12 screens in front of him, literally the manpower that you would save by putting it into those drones, you could literally have 2 people in a room and one person is actually monitoring the drones and or have them stop and land on checkpoints, and they can just sit and monitor. They get motion sensors somewhere, they pick it up and they take it and go check out that area. It saves money in the long run, it saves time, and it saves manpower.
Any other questions?
All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. MC? Is that it? Oh, okay. You're a little shorter now. What do you want to change?
What are you supposed to do?
Panel, this one.
Oh, entrepreneurship. Okay. Okay, not everybody there is.
It's here. I heard he's not here.
Yeah, I mean, this is changing.
Okay. As we often have to be, we shall be flexible in seeing and figuring out how we'll do this last part. All right, well, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Philip Karaya, and we're getting ready to do the entrepreneurship panel. Here you go. Yes. Oh, looks like there is something. Yes.
Representative Shegun Adeyina.
Yeah. Switching order. Here, no, it's okay.
No, you good. Right here.
Okay.
Just call him up. Yeah, call him up.
All right. Once again, staying flexible. So, instead of the entrepreneurship panel today, it looks like that's going to be tomorrow. We're going to have Senator Donzella James. Oh, okay. Representative Segun Adeyina come up instead. Let's give him a warm welcome. All right. All right. For you.
Right.
You're welcome.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, right over here. All right. I'm going to be brief because I know the day is winding down and people have been here all day, and I know it's been a very busy program. First of all, I want to congratulate you for putting together this event. I think it's important that we have representation from different parts of the world, especially when Nigerians come here. You mostly hear people come from Lagos State or Abuja, but we don't really hear a lot about the Niger Delta. So this is a good forum for us to discuss some of the challenges here and figure out how we can collaborate and alleviate the challenges that we're faced. Let me back up and introduce myself. So I'm State Representative Shegun Adena, Georgia State Representative, House District 110, which is in Gwinnett, Grayson, Loganville, Lawrenceville, and a little bit of Snellville. I'm one of the first 5 Nigerians elected to the State House in Georgia in 2022. And not just being honored to be elected, but to understand the journey that a lot of us have in this country and some of the challenges that we have in our community here and our community back at home. 2 things I'd like to point out. A lot of us don't understand what it means to live in America. Yes, as diaspora, we should be concerned about the issues that go on back home. And we'll talk about that in a second. But we also have to be concerned about what's happening in our country here. What policies are impacting our lives, right? How can you start a business? How you can sustain that business? Let me deviate a bit and let me just be honest. Being black in America is a different challenge. And we know that. So that's why we have to make sure that when you have legislators who are representing your interests, you need to have the right conversations. And I know you're going to have a lot of panelists up here, you're going to have a lot of discussions, but then what's the action? And I say that because as a state rep, I'm also on one of the newest formed caucuses and the first of its kind in the country called the Georgia African Legislative Caucus. And what that caucus does, just like our counterpart caucus, such as the Japanese caucus or the Asian caucus, is we want to see focused trade and investment between Georgia and the African countries and Caribbean countries. We want to see that. If you go to Georgia Economic Development website today, the state of Georgia is focused on 12 areas globally. Not one of those areas is an African or Caribbean country. Not one. But yet, we're talking about agriculture. But we have no investment from the state of Georgia to really sit down and invest resources to have dialogue with other countries on how to engage and mean in doing real business. When you look at the numbers, and this is just public information, I got a page of all the countries doing business with Georgia. I think the only country, top 20 countries, not one African or Caribbean country is included. Not one. Belgium does way more business than any other African country with Georgia. Belgium has 65 companies in Georgia. So how do we change the dialogue and the narrative? Start having these sessions. This is one way. But the other way is our outreach to the business community here in Georgia. I don't know if the Atlanta Black Chamber is here. I don't know if there are any black chambers in here. They're coming tomorrow? Okay. All right. Oh, they were here already? Okay. All right. So we need to start engaging the businesses here. And then those African diaspora that own businesses, you're registered in the United States of America. You're an American business. So you can go to Nigeria and do business with people in Nigeria. But grow your business here and connect back home. So as you have your dialogue, center some of your conversation around that. What does a trade mission look like? I hope the Nigerian Delta movement will be planning a trade mission very soon, because I think that's very important. Because you take people back and they see what's really going on, and they can now anticipate what kind of resources you need, what kind of support do you need. On the flip side, we're also challenged here in Georgia. We have a workforce that is aging, and we need people to work. How are we addressing that, right? I know Nigeria has a large population of youth, and we can divert some of those opportunities by looking at some of the areas that might not require them to be physically present here. IT is a huge area, whether you're in cybersecurity, whether you're in AI, what different aspects, wherever you are, right? So let's look at education as an opportunity, as another opportunity industry to look at. Technology, of course, is also important. So as you deliberate this whole weekend, let's start thinking of how can we be innovative and look at areas that people are not truly talking about. And also on the flip side here, this is an election year. I have to say that because I'm running for re-election. But this is election year. We have to make sure we elect people that are going to work for the interest of our community. We have to make sure we elect people that work for the interest of our community. Because when you have people thinking about what you're doing here today, right, we want to make sure that you're successful and Georgia's successful. Well, we have to prioritize the list of what the Georgia economic development priorities are globally. Today, we're not listed. No African or Caribbean or African diaspora country is listed. Yes, we're looking at South America. Yes, we're looking at Asia. Yes, we're looking at Europe. But why are we not looking in those other places where there's a whole lot of opportunity? China is very well vested in Africa. And we all know that. China is very well invested. And they're investing like crazy over there. And they're taking every opportunity that we should have. So I say, I appreciate you giving me a few minutes to engage and just share my thoughts. We have a lot of work to do, but the work has to start with representation, participation, and being present. So whoever's, maybe after this convention when you're doing a recap, one of the things we can sit and this probably will be after the election, right? We can sit and start talking about strategy for Georgia, right? Along with the Georgia African Legislative Caucus, is what strategy can we do from a trade and investment perspective? How can we truly make everything we talk about this whole weekend count? Because it shouldn't just be about talking. We have to act. So whether it's a trade mission, whether it's a digital conference, one of the things, and I'll kind of let it out now, one of the things we're looking to do and we haven't, and we're kind of talking about is a round table. Bringing some businesses and government agencies and representation from those different countries and doing something very similar like the US-Africa Trade Summit, but doing like a Georgia-Africa Trade Summit. Because I think that's where we get the ball rolling and that's where we can start having those conversations about what are the things that matter. So on that note, thank you for hearing my few minutes. One last thing. And one thing that surprises me when I go to a lot of these events that we put together is the attendance. And it's not that the organizers didn't do a lot of work. They got the right speakers, they marketed, they put it out there. But I want to challenge us a little bit. When we're doing events like this, let's get our schools involved. You have a number of universities in this area. I am sure if some of either the business college or some of the student-run organizations, international, knew about, they're going to be here tomorrow. Okay. Thanks for mentioning that. So that's important. Let's collaborate in the communities, the churches. I mean, wherever we can collaborate, let's get out there. And if you need my help in getting the word out, please don't hesitate. I know I got an invite letter, but I didn't get an action. And that's what you have to do. When you invite people, give them an action. Tell me, I need 10 legislators to come here today. I need 5 city council, whatever it is an ask. I serve you, you don't serve me. And that's what we should look at, all our elected officials. Challenge them. You have a right. You pay tax dollars here. You paid for this place, right? You're going to pay the taxes on this place? You are. They're going to give you a bill and it'll be taxes. Yeah. So challenge us. If we don't do the job, I mean, I came here because I knew I had to be. I had so many other things going on, but you guys reached out to me and said, hey, you have to be here. I'm here. So thanks again, and have a wonderful celebration this week.
Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Just to piggyback off of what she said, Representative, we do have the Delta State House Speaker who was here, and he was engaged, so I'm sure we can make some connection to your point, how the state of Georgia should actively be trying to do business with Africa, well, for us with Nigeria, with the Niger Delta, so I think that is a very fair point to make. So thank you very much. And at this time, I think there's supposed to be another panel, but we look excited. We're excited. All right, we're excited. So we're going to wrap it up. I don't know, Mr. Yamu, are we doing any additional networking, or I think we have a recap from Mr. Thompson for the day. Oh, you have a question? Okay, there is a question, okay.
Have, which is like an encouragement for everyone when he responds. He did ask question about, I think you mentioned Brazil, the country that has 65 businesses. Belgium. Okay. We have to find a way to do more of what Niger Delta is doing today, based on your response and question, because Belgium, like you said, 65 businesses. I know Nigerians here has more than 2,000 businesses, but there is this mindset that we, both men and women, particularly the men, I'm sorry to say, but we have this mindset. I kind of like what you and the other representatives are doing, because you think and you thought outside the box. A lot of our men don't believe that they belong here. So let me kind of cap it so you respond once, because they have, let me say, $1,000 to invest. They rather invest 999 in Nigeria. You tell them, Oga, can you even divide it into two? You live here, your family is here. No, over there. And Belgian people, Indians, to mention a few, most of them are not like us. Their investment is here. They invest back home, but the same scenario is like, what do we do to change that mindset, to encourage more people to believe? Like I tell people, I say, carrying an American passport doesn't make you an American citizen. You have to live American life. First of all, agree that you'll be buried here when you die. That makes you a citizen. Can I go around and check all the men here? Where will you be buried? That, you see, where do you call home? so where do you call home? Shegu, help us here. What do we do to change this mindset? Where is home? Answer that question for us. Where is home?
Well, let me start with the first thing. So let me just clarify. So when I said 65 companies from Belgium, I'm talking about companies from Belgium that are here presently, physically in this country, right? Not their diaspora, but 65 companies from Belgium. And what that does, if we had, and I'll pick a few companies, maybe Dangote supplying cement here, right? You're now providing another revenue stream directly to that company, so they're not worried about CBN, right? So we need to encourage more businesses, and it goes both ways, just like we have Oracle, Microsoft, all those companies in Nigeria. Why don't we have companies Nigerian-owned here in the U.S., here in Georgia, right? So that's where I was going with that. Now, in terms of Nigerian businesses in Georgia, again, if you're registered in the state of Georgia, if you're registered in the United States, you have every benefit that another business has, right? Just identify your capacity, work with the agencies here. So there's one agency called U.S. Trade Development Agency, along with some other agencies. They're working to promote more companies to do business in other countries abroad, primarily in Africa right now. So what normally used to happen is we'll set up our businesses and go out and do the legwork ourselves in Nigeria, and we get burnt. But what we really need to do is utilizing those U.S. agencies here, because we are American registered companies and we pay tax dollars, and we should use those agencies to do business in Nigeria. Because they protect your investments that you make as a U.S. company. That's my own thought. So I'm not new to the Nigerian paradigm. I'm a member of Niger, the Nigerians in diaspora, and we've had this challenge. I used to be on the board for 4 years, and we've had this challenge and this dialogue in our community. But what we really, really need, if we're really serious about investing and changing Nigeria, you're a U.S. company. Your services are needed in Nigeria. So use the resources you have here and present yourself over there. And then maybe we can start doing, South Africa just did, the U.S. ambassador for South Africa was here about 3 months ago, and they just did a trade mission with about 50 businesses from South Africa. Today they have 200 companies between Georgia and South Africa that are now transacting business. And that's because, again, they vetted the businesses over there, and then the businesses with the agencies were vetted over here, and they put them together, and they're doing business. So I think if we work from that perspective, maybe it changes our paradigm, and maybe we can do more to impact. Now, as far as burying back home, I stay out of that conversation.
Thank you so much. I think we have another question, but yes, to Mr. Representative Adeyema's point, I think for those of us in NDPM, that's the mindset that we should have. Even with the presentation from Africa Trade Desk, the idea is to have businesses in Nigeria that intend to, on the agriculture side, that want to bring things over here. We are going to facilitate that to make sure that those agreements are made. And to his point, we have to start there. Yes, we might be starting small, but the goal is to encourage that cross-intercontinental trade where it's not, yes, people want to go home and invest, but once we're able to show that you can bring it from there over here and still be profitable, you're not worried about being burnt. And like he said, if you have a business here, you want to go there are channels that you can go through. So we have to work it on both directions. So I know you have a question? No, okay. One more question.
More so a response to the question of, what makes somebody want to invest, more so in Africa versus like here, right? So this is my perspective from someone that is a dual citizen between here and Kenya. I've made a lot of investments in the US, I've made a lot of investments overseas, right? I think this is one of the best places that there is to come and make money. At the end of the day, it's a capitalistic society. So many things are based on the aspect of spending money. There's a lot of government subsidies. I think investing back home makes a bunch of sense. You have a lot of family, like how many people have family members that are still back home, right? Yeah, and a lot of people still support family that are out there. So creating infrastructure makes a lot of sense because it means you can now make sure that your families are fed. Because otherwise you're sending them money anyways. You're sending it through SendWave, you're getting messages through WhatsApp, whatever, right? We all know. So, from the standpoint of even just understanding the resources that are here for us to utilize, if you are an American citizen, right? Who's ever gone to get a loan for anything? Like whether it's a house loan, a car loan, a business loan, etc., right? Who's ever gone to do loan or financing overseas? Okay, the way y'all laugh, right? Why'd y'all laugh? Because the cost of capital is a lot higher if you're borrowing overseas than what it is here. If you're a U.S. citizen, and we all know, we have credit systems, right? If you have good credit in the U.S., which most foreigners are very tight with money, so they do what they need to do to financially be in the right position. A lot of them don't even know you can go and get business financing at 0% over 12 months, And you can get hundreds of thousands of dollars, just like that. Those are some of the practical things that I think need to be discussed in such conversations like this. And it's not the aspect of just saying like, oh, well, go get money. You need to know what you're doing with the money because you have 12 months. Normally they're like promotional balances for business cards. You have 12 months to get it, and then you have to pay it back if you don't. That interest is gonna compound from all those months that you missed. But if you know how to utilize it safely, if you know how to utilize it and place it in a deal, you can borrow money for free. How many people are giving out money for you to utilize for free for a deal? Don't call me because I'm not giving you that money. And I doubt most people will, but just understanding some of those tools, and in the same way they're saying, hey, look, we want to be those bridge partners where if you don't know the fulfillment of the contract and you're looking to do something overseas, we're going to make sure those things get done, and that helps bridge the other part of the gap. So utilizing what we know here to help each other utilize the resources here to invest overseas. And maybe you don't want to start up a business. You can buy a business. You can do an acquisition of a company here. You can do an acquisition of a company over there. And I'd love to talk with one of the attorneys to talk about the cost of actually doing that over there. But you can buy businesses the same way you can buy real estate. So I think some of the more practical conversations that should be had should start with everyone talking and saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm interested in doing. So we know that. Because how many people know what everybody's looking for in here? Nobody, right? Which means there's a conversation that needs to be had before we're talking at each other about what we think someone knows. We haven't had the conversation to say, hey, look, this is the business I'm doing, this is where I need help. Or this is the business I'm doing here, these are the resources and relationships I need to make sure things get done. So I think before we do anything and continue, as we start the next day, that's why it needs to start so everyone knows this is who I need to talk to, this is what I need to do, because otherwise we're talking at each other, but how are we helping really move the needle? And I want to make sure we're moving the needle so we can all help each other flourish and prosper, and then just buy me some steak or send me a goat, and then we're good to go. All right.
Thank you, thank you. We're going to close out with Mr. Thompson. Any other questions? If not, we will allow Mr. Thompson to close us out. Just a quick recap and prepare us for tomorrow. And to Mr. Phillips' point, yes, part of our agenda is for people to network, get to talk to people. For those of you that might have trickled in a little later, some people did get the chance to, exchange contacts and get to know each other so that they can continue conversations and make some meaningful business decisions. So at this point, I'll hand it over to Mr. Thompson to help close us out and get us ready for tomorrow.
Thank you so much, thank you so much. How many of you felt that today was a valuable day? There was a lot of value in the discussion, the conversation. When we were planning this event, Brother Ejiro and Elmer, we said, this is not an event where we're going to look to pack a room with 500 people, with a lot of people. We want the people who want to be here, and we want the people who need to be here. The investors, those who are those who are interested in trade and trade policies and investments, and those who would find the purpose and the reason for this conference of value. And I think that's what we have here today. That's what we have here today. Individuals who traveled, His Excellency, the Deputy Speaker of Delta State, and Deacon Chris, and so many other folks who traveled in, not only from Nigeria, but from England and from other parts of the states and other parts of Georgia, so that we can make this day a very valuable day of information exchange, exchange of ideas, exchange of dialogue. And again, it's not a day or not a 2 days for fancy speeches, passionate speeches, fancy words, but it's how we can listen to the things that we need to put into place so that before we conclude tomorrow, we can actually go through the action items that need to be done and put into place so that we can move forward. So tomorrow, what we will be doing before we conclude is actually breaking into groups and discussing the next steps forward. Looking at the discussions we had today, the discussions we will have tomorrow. Now today we had some really great conversation on agriculture. We had the Honorable Senator Donzella James speak to us about trade, mentioning the Georgia ports and the memorandum of understanding that will be signed between the Senator's office and the Niger Delta region to foster trade, looking at building those connections with Georgia Power and how we move forward on putting together projects to implement projects on hydro energy, power energy, and so on and so forth. The Honorable Chairwoman Lisa Cupid, giving us some things that we can do here, some ideas, and we can partner with Cobb County and state of Georgia. Chief Curtis Clemens speaking on security, because we know security is a big thing in Nigeria, right? Security is a big thing. Even in Guyana, even my own country, security is a big thing, right? In most of the developing world, security is a big thing, right? So before we can have these grandiose projects and build on these investment projects and build businesses, we have to make sure that security is tantamount, right? And so we had that discussion today. Tomorrow we will focus on entrepreneurship, information technology, transportation, and some of the other things that we didn't get to today and that are scheduled for tomorrow. So we want all of you back tomorrow because there's more to discuss. But like I said, even more important, we are going to break into groups and discuss the way forward. Because the only way that this is going to work is if we take what we have discussed and take what we have mentioned and then now put it into actionable plans, actionable steps. Because as His Excellency said, he wants a delegation next year in Nigeria, right? So we have to now put the necessary steps in place to move towards that delegation. What is that delegation going to comprise? What are we going to discuss before putting together a delegation? What are we going to do when we get to Nigeria, right? But even more so, how are we going to take what we've discussed today now to move forward from this day and from tomorrow and put these steps in place? So we're going to discuss other MOUs. We're going to discuss other strategies and just making sure that when we leave here tomorrow, we know what is going to happen the next day and what's going to occur, with what we have discussed, the goals and objectives that must be met from this Niger Delta Georgia Business Summit. Because this is going to be the inaugural event, the benchmark on which we are going to plan next year. So we're going to use this year as a lessons learned, as a study for what we're going to put into implementation next year. So we welcome you back tomorrow. We're going to have another energetic day. We're going to have another day of panels and guest speakers. But again, it all culminates with action planning and understanding the necessary steps we're going to take beyond these 2 days. All right? So if there's anyone who you think should be here, right, just let them know, hey, we have a day 2. We would like to see them tomorrow. And again, we're not looking to pack the room with 500 people who just want to come and listen to fancy speeches and maybe answer some questions. But we want people who are ready to put boots on the ground in Nigeria, because this is what it's all about. Building the Niger Delta region and making sure that the economic development, the revitalization, and the restoration of the quality of life is met from the objectives and the action items we're going to put into place after this weekend, all right? So have a great evening. I don't know if Brother Ejiro wants to say something before we close.
Just real quick, Ms. Seth has, I don't know if it's you or Phil who has the drone. Phil, yes, so we would like to capture everyone just for a moment, if we could all make our way upstairs. We would like to capture us using that, okay? So once we close out, if we can all just go up the stairs and we'll do that. It'll just take probably a couple of minutes.
All right, thank you.
Thank you so much. This is good. This is good. This is good.
Speak tomorrow. Yes. You'll try or you will? I will. I'm here tomorrow. I was supposed to speak today. You didn't call me.